Republicans are promising to repeal the massive government takeover health care bill. Here's what President Obama had to say about it.
They call the passage of this bill Armageddon. Armageddon. End of freedom as we know it. So after I signed the bill, I looked around to see if there were any asteroids falling or sudden cracks opening up in the earth. Turned out it was a nice day. Birds were chirping.
Neil Cavuto is live with us from the Newseum in D.C. He will be live there this afternoon after we come off the air. Neil, that soundbite drove me nuts. Well, what is he, the comedian-in-chief now? It just seemed like, why lower yourself to that level?
Opposition to health care and this bill leading up to the vote was well documented. There was intimidation of the Democrats by the progressives. It was bad, and things were tense. Almost 3/4 of Americans opposed this bill in its final form, and yet America got it anyway. America was spanked for opposing it. But since it is passed, what has happened? Are people just ready to move on? Well, the president and his allies would like us to believe so. Unfortunately, the polls, this one from CBS, shows that 62% of Americans want the GOP to continue fighting this legislation. And that's not just those angry Republicans. That's 41% of Democrats polled want the GOP to continue fighting the bill. 41%. Are you kidding me? Looks like decent bipartisan support against it. But if you're the president, you can't have any of this debate going on. You've got to move on, and you've got to start grabbing that 41% and bringing them into your tent. He needs people to move on quickly and forget that he's just slapped America around, and what some are calling a Marxist dream was shoved down our throats. So, what is the strategy to get the talk onto anything else other than the bill and to rally his base? Unfortunately, we are seeing the same tried and true method of hate speech. Oh, it's hate speech. Here's the way it works. If you can't win the argument, stop the argument. It's what the left resorts to time after time after time, and quite frankly, we're sick of it. They do it with talk radio. The fairness doctrine. They can't compete, shut down the opposing voice, stomp it out. If you're against amnesty, stomp it out. You just hate people who look different than you. It's just hate speech. You're against health care. Why do you hate poor people so much? It's hate speech. We're sick of it. We're sick of it. And quite honestly, it's not working anymore. The only people it's working with are the reporters in the media. That's it. Now, this is how they're attempting to silence the Tea Partiers and anyone who is standing against this health care bill. They are just so hateful, and they're going to get violent, you know. During the Tea Parties, liberals in the media were trembling in fear, shaking in their boots. And they were right. I mean, doesn't she look scary? She's a grandma. Oh, the horror. Parents, please, cover your children's eyes here. Of course, no actual violence ever happened at any of the Tea Party rallies, but that didn't really stop Nancy Pelosi from crying about the possibility of violence.
I have concerns about some of the language that is being used because I saw this myself in the late 70s in San Francisco. Oh, this kind of rhetoric was very frightening, and it created a climate in which violence took place.
Okay, stop. May I ask a question? If she was really worried about violence and she thought these people were violent, why would you grab a big hammer and walk into a sea of these people? I mean, was there not a Secret Service? Somebody should ask this.